Hello guys, I would like to explain the types of leases which we can record in FLA. Is a lease accounting module. FLA is a separate module under finance suite which is used to manage leases. And FLA has the key features of lease creation, generating amortization schedules, and maintaining accounting balances. It generates the balances required as specified by IFRS 16 and AS 842 guidelines. AS 842 is nothing but US GAAP, and IFRS 16 is international GAAP. We'll now understand the types of leases which we can record in FLA. First of all, what is lease? A lease is a contract where a party gains the right to use an asset owned by another party for a specific period. Here we have two parties. Lessor means the owner of the asset who grants the use of the asset, and lessee means the party who uses the asset and makes the payment to the lessor. There are two types of leases as you see on the screen: expense lease and revenue lease. An expense lease refers to the cost recorded by a lessee for using an asset that is not owned but rather leased. An expense lease involves a company paying to use an asset like renting a property, leading to lease expense recognized on the income statement. Example, a business renting an office space for its operations. And another type is revenue lease. Revenue lease involves a company providing an asset for others to use, generating rental income recognized as revenue, often involving invoices for the customers who pay. For example, a real estate company leasing out a property to tenants. Expense lease is integrated with AP module, while revenue lease is integrated with AR module. Okay. And expense lease is further classified into three: operating lease, finance lease, and exempt lease. Exempt lease nothing but short-term lease. Operating lease. This type of lease is treated as a rental agreement for specified period with the asset remaining on the lessor's books. So the accounting treatment for operating leases also involves a recording a right of use. We call it as ROU asset, and lease liability on the lessee's balance sheet under current accounting standards like AS 842. But the expense recognition is different from finance leases. So what is finance lease? A finance lease is a long-term agreement where the lessee gains the right to use an asset while legal ownership remains with the lessor. The lessee assumes most of the risks and rewards of for ownership, including maintenance and depreciation. It is often used by business for machinery, vehicles, or equipment. This type of lease is accounted for an asset and corresponding lease liability on the balance sheet. And exempt lease. Exempt lease means short-term lease, that is typically less than a year. Here, we do not book on the balance sheet. So no accounting is done in lease module. Everything is done inside AP module. Okay, here non-compliance expense account comes into picture. So we call it as non-compliance because it is not compliant with the ROU and the lease liability concepts of ASA 842. And under revenue lease, we have only one type, that is operating lease. Okay. And coming to asset type, what is asset type? This is for expense lease only. We have two choices. While creating expense lease, we need to either select equipment lease or property lease, depends on the lease which is being created. So we also have leases in FA module. In the next video, I will explain how it is different from lease accounting and what are the differences between FA lease and lease accounting module. Thank you.